Hello, hi. Welcome on in. We have finished basically finished our very large commission of a full body model. So now we're going to rest a little bit and work on something a bit simple. Yeah. Who's joined us? Hi, Cares. Hi, Diamond Fangirl. Welcome, welcome. So I'm being promoted to background noise, which, to be fair, I don't mind. We're very podcasty, very yappy. If you're not interested in the art and you're only here for the hanging out and talking, it's perfect. Hi Kay, welcome, welcome. I'm doing better today. I think for the past few days, maybe week, I think I was sick. I don't know, my energy kind of just flatlined, but today I had I ordered a pizza, had pancakes, took a 3-hour nap. I feel much better. I think I just needed rest. So yeah, how have you been? How's everything on your end? Also, we're converting a PNG tuber, I think it was PNG plus, something like that, right? Into a live 2D model. So this is for Hot Check. He makes shorts for me. So yeah. Hi Goldie, welcome, welcome. Been hella good. I was at the gym today, almost 2 hours of working out. That's impressive. It's been 2 months since I moved here. I have yet to find a gym. Whoops. First time in forever since I worked out. Hey, you know what's an interesting fun fact about muscles is your muscles quote unquote remember what their peak was. So like for example, if you take like a full year to get really swollen, buff and all that stuff, and then say something happens and you lose all that muscle mass, to get that muscle mass back again for a second time is actually much faster than grinding towards it the first time. So, yeah, even if it has been a while, your body remembers and sprints back to that point. Very laggy, so sadly gonna have to make you disappear by OD. Well, thanks for stopping by. Unfortunately, I've lost my promotion as background noise, but it's okay. We endure. But yeah, well, see you next time. Bye bye. Also, the owner of the gym is my mom's friend. He instructed me on my routine. Ah, okay. Yeah, having a personal trainer is kind of useful. I'm the kind who, if I'm just shown the steps, I prefer to just do it on my own. Although I do have one of my friends, she struggles to work out if she doesn't have a personal trainer. She doesn't need someone directing and instructing. She wants a, and I quote, a drill sergeant to yell at her and tell her to do things. So yeah, to each their own. Doing it on your own beginning can hurt you long term only if you go in blind and kind of just go off of vibes. The beautiful thing about the internet is instead of just showing up being like, okay, that's a dumbbell, I can do this thing. I don't know. I see that one guy in the corner doing something, that kind of works. Or you could just open Google and go, how to, proper, what's it called? Proper dumbbell form or this thing, or how to use X machine efficiently, right? and you'll probably get all the answers you need. With the internet is not on your own. When I say on your own, I mean, okay, on your own means you don't have someone instructing you. If you have access to the internet and you're doing your own research, that is you doing it on your own, in my, per my definition slash my opinion. Because, for example, I learned live 2D rigging, quote unquote, on my own. I didn't buy one of those courses. I didn't have anyone, walk me through how it works. I just Googled how to do this thing, and then I did it. I mean, it's all a matter of definition, but I don't believe anything ever exists, with no outside influence. Like, that's the thing about originality, right? Ow. That's the thing about originality. How do I word this? Nothing is ever original. It's always just ideas we have seen before, interpreted in our own way, and remixed with other ideas. So, yeah. Originality is overrated. Like that's how the human mind works. You absorb information, you store it for later, and then when the time comes, right? You draw upon that kind of well of memory and knowledge. Like, for example, if I hand you a piece of paper and I say, draw an original anime character without any outside influence, you'll draw it from memory, right? But you'll be drawing it based on past anime you've seen. So, yeah. Howdy, I'm sorry I missed like the last 10 streams. Hi, welcome back. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just show up, have a good time, and that's more than enough. This isn't a university course. Feel free to pop in and out whenever you want. Is all good. But how have you been? What have you been up to? We're having a very light stream doing a simple model. But this one is mostly converting a reactive PNG model into a live 2D model. So we're just gonna have to redo some stuff like the eyes. We can do this in one stream. What were we talking about? Right, originality. Don't don't stress too much about being quote unquote original. All you need to do is find the right references, right? And then from there, you'll make something that is, in quote, original. If you're just gonna lurk as I'm drawing, yeah, feel free. Not to worry. Just do what you want to be yourself. About the originality or the drawing thing? Yes. That doesn't help. That's one of my favorite bits. So if someone asks, like if I have two choices and I don't really want to answer, or maybe both are good, and someone asks, "Do you want this or that?" I just look at them, blank face, and I go, "Yes." It never fails to bother them. Ooh, strange thing. Normally, whenever some of my friends call, whenever they want to share their woes and troubles, usually I always start with, "Okay, do you want emotional support or a logical solution?" because I'm not gonna waste my time guessing, right? For example, say this is one of my friends. They have boy trouble, and the person they're talking to, kind of garbage. My logical solution is, why are you wasting your time? Just block them, move on, live your life, raise your standards, please. For my sake, I don't want to hear about this. I say that jokingly, but that is a logical solution. Oh, talking to this person does not spark joy and they're very bothersome. Solution: stop talking to them. Now, most people know what. Wally, most people know what to do logically, but sometimes they don't want solutions. They want emotional support. So if I'm providing emotional support whenever they are they complain about it, even though I feel like it's 100% self-inflicted, the solution is simple. I don't say anything. I'm just like, oh, that sounds awful. That must be very tough. And this is this. It used to be a very binary system, like you want logical support or emotional support. Lately, one of my friends, what she's been doing is like, okay, I need advice on something, but I want 60% emotional support and 40% logical solution, right? So I try to accommodate for that. Apparently she enjoys it a lot. She's like, you know what? I really like programming you like some sort of AI. It's been great. That's real math. Yeah, the way I look at it is like, 60% emotional support, 40% logical solution, which means they want a logical solution, but in the end of the day, whatever they decide, I'm just going to be like, here's what I think you should do. But whatever they say they want to do instead, I'll be like, that's 100% okay. You know what? You do you. That's fine. I don't do like the actual math of like 60 and 40. I'm just like, which one is more? So she wanted, well, Wally, he kicked my keyboard, which pushed my mic off of my table. Fortunately, it landed on me. You are in timeout, mister. I don't know why. He really loves just jumping onto my table. Like for the past week or so, he jumps onto my table, sits in between me and the screen, and just makes himself comfortable, right? And part of making himself comfortable, what he does is he starts rolling over and stretching, which kind of kicks things off my table. Always the naughty one? Yeah, he is. He's the very energetic, rambunctious one. Julian, however, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. She meows, wants treats, wants pets, and wants a nap. That's it. Like if I open the door, my room door, to let her out, roam around and stuff, she'll go out occasionally, roam around for like 5 minutes, come back into the house, go back to sleep the rest of the day. Wally, I open the door, let him out. He does not come back until I have to drag him back in the evening. But yeah, sorry about that. He will be my downfall. I don't have a mic arm. So what I do is I just, it's on the table, it's just on the stand in front of me, like the stock one. So if he pushes my keyboard, he pushes it towards me and then that pushes my mic and then just everything falls off. But sorry, what were we talking about? Right, calculating that in real time. I just look at which is the bigger number. I'm like, okay, they want they want advice, but they don't want judgment and they don't want to be told what to do. So I just point at the right direction and be like, I personally would go that way. Right. But they're like, yeah, but this is this. I'm also thinking this other thing. I'm like, you know what? That other thing also sounds great. So yeah, they seem to want more emotional support. So, emotional support is just whatever decisions they want, just nod along and be like, uh huh, uh huh. If it's a complaint, that's so awful. That must be so hard. Some people just want to be listened to, which is okay. I think this is an issue a lot of guys have. Whenever someone is like complaining about something, the default is like, oh, okay. This is a problem. I'm going to put on my thinker's hat. How can we solve this problem together? Yeah, most of the time people don't want solutions. They just want to vent and feel validated, you know? Like, hey, this thing is rough, right? This thing is tough. It sucks. You can start offering solutions. Most of the time, okay, 9 out of 10 times, they already know the solution. So, yeah. Or can you share some density with me? I'm sorry, I don't have any density to share, or at all. I am very wise cat. That's not true. Before you ever think that, oh, maybe he knows what he's doing, maybe he's a very wise person, know that I have on multiple occasions walked into glass doors, not realizing that the glass is there, kind of like a pigeon. Now, I have like 20/20 vision. It's not an issue of eyesight, that could be forgiven. Now, for real, please lend some density. What do you mean by density? I always say a bit of like like if I'm talking to an engineer or like someone who's into like tech and stuff like that, I'm like yeah, the camera's fine, the processing is the issue. Meaning, my brain and all. It's the density of legends. You're asking for something, but but in the same sentence. I don't want to be insulting because I don't want to say being insulting because I'm not insulted. It's all good. But you get what I mean. Mm. Well, I have some ling around. If you can find it, you can have it. Ori, can I ask you for help in judging a situation, please? Okay, understandable. Go for it. So long as it follows the rules of, the stream and all that stuff, I don't mind. Ask away. I'm just trying to get like the little center line here. Because it's not a very symmetrical model. So yeah. Because I just want to know where the center is. So we can easily reflect stuff. Orient dance. Thank you. I don't know how that started. I think it was Seller. But yeah, people see me as silly goofy cat. Which I think is funny. I don't mind it, like the what a silly dense cat jokes, it's okay. Although they are sometimes if a matter turns serious, I'm not taken seriously. I think that is like the only time that I would have any issue with it really. Well, issue is a strong word, but like for example, mm, What's a good way of putting this? For example, bully the streamer jokes. I'm fine with bully the streamer jokes, so long as they are tactful. It's funny. It's respectful at the end of the day. So long as it's a joke in quotes, right? It's all good. But there are some times when, for example, if things get rowdy, I'm like, okay, I think like that's leaning towards a direction that maybe I don't like too much. Let's tone it down. It can get interpreted as, how do you say this? It can get interpreted as, oh, silly cat just doesn't want to. It's part of the bit. It's kind of hard to differentiate between what's a don't bully me joke versus what is a hey, let's not do that. I think I thought about it for some time. I'm like, I think the best way to handle it is, on Twitch as a streamer, you can send like warnings and then say like you can have warnings and then you click on which rule they have quote unquote broken. It's not a timeout, it's not a ban, it's just it's a very private thing that says, "Hey, this rule was broken, just letting you know," etc. So yeah, I think that's how would you say this? I think going forward, like that's the best way to do it. So if you don't get a Twitch warning, you're fine, is the way I'll put it. Okay, let me read this. Let me get some water. So I was at the gym and a friend, my crush, was messaging me. I left my phone in the locker after getting out. I wrote to him, sorry, I was, and guys. The autocorrect. You meant to say sorry, I was at gym, but it changed to guys. What guy? Where? Unsure. Unsure what to say. I asked playfully if he was jealous. He said, yeah. The. Okay, okay. If they are playfully jealous, that's all good. If they're actually jealous, red flag. Never dance? Yeah. You know what? Thank you for that, Goldie. I wish I had like a bag of candy I could just like toss at you guys whenever I'm like, you know what? That is good behavior. You get a treat. Toss your bag of M&Ms. So, in that kind of situations, in that kind of situation, immediately just being like, hey, sorry, you can just be like, haha, autocorrect, it was just Jim. All right. All good. I would say it's a good thing you didn't be like, oh yeah, just as you make up a fictional person, like, oh yeah, so this person to like kind of wind them up, make them jealous. I think that's a bit mean. Glad you didn't do that. If you do it for like a total of 2-3 seconds maximum, that's fine. But some jokes like that are very, at best, short lived. It's cute. My eyes only on you. Send blushing emoji after that. Okay. So where does my wisdom come in? I thought there'd be a question. But this kind of reminds me of. I corrected it instantly almost. Yeah, that's the best way to go. What am I supposed to make of this? They seem to like you. Or at least you guys have a lot of flirty jokes and stuff together. So do with that what you will. You said this person was your crush. It's been acting differently lately. Do you want logical solutions or emotional support? Choose your fighter. Today's stream should be just titled Dating Advice with Ordi. Please note that I am a very single cat, so whatever advice you take, if it take with a grain of salt. Well, I asked if you wanted emotional support or okay, sounds like logical advice. Here is a crazy thing about human beings. You can ask them questions. Like, okay, jokes aside, if you're like, this person's acting a bit strange, and you're like, I don't know how that makes me feel, or even you're just like curious, like, they're acting a bit different. What's up with that? You can just straight up ask them, like, hey, I've noticed you've been acting a little bit different. What's up with that? And then they say, what do you mean? And then you're like, oh, I just noticed sometimes you do this. I'm just curious, you know. But if you don't want to talk about it, it's all good. And then leave it at that. I feel like most problems in life are solved if people communicate more. But they are sometimes where people should just learn to talk less. You told me a few times he's too much of a coward to confess. Okay, do you like him? If so, why don't you do it? Why don't you step up, take the plunge if you want? Now, you can go about this two ways. Okay, this is just a me thing, right? Because I'm not the most romantic cat out there. I don't believe in, what's it called? How would you say this? I'm not the kind of person who believes in falling madly in love with someone and then asking them out. I'm more of a hey, this person's kind of fun to hang out with, you know. They check all the right boxes. I'm like, and you know, then you just go and be like, you ask them out very casually if they're interested. If they're not, just be like, hey, it's all good, and then you go back to acting the way you were before. No harm, no foul. I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten that. A coward myself. Well, I can't help with that. All I can say is if you are afraid, that is nothing more than the opportunity to be brave. So, you know, you can either take the leap, go for it, or. Sorry, I'm so used to talking to my friends, I'm kind of mean to them. I was going to be like, you know, it's okay, it's fine. I'll just keep my jokes to myself. You can be brave, you can just take the leap, or things will either remain the same, just, you know, awkward. Yeah, just awkward, shy glances until eventually someone moves on, and then it's a shame, a missed opportunity. So, yeah. Say them, say just. Okay, sorry. This is what I usually tell my friends whenever they completely ignore my advice. So I'm like, hey, if they're like, oh, I want to do this thing, like, oh, I wanna get in shape, for example. Right? I'm like, okay, go to the gym, eat healthy. No, but I don't want to do that. My instinctive response every single time is like, okay, suffer in silence. Then I don't know. I don't want to be nagged, and you know, I, I'm very not brutally honest. I'm very dry humor. That's the way I treat my friends, like my childhood best friends, closest people in my life, because they know that whatever whatever I say and how I say it, at the end of the day, I don't truly judge. I'm not actually making fun of them. I'm just, you know, doing a bit, trying to, you know, lighten the mood, cheer them up, you know. Because, you know, most people, whenever they, how do you say this? Sorry, English is failing me today. The last thing anyone expects whenever they like complain is someone, having an offhanded comment like that. And sometimes they crack up when they hear things like that. And I say it with like attitude. So yeah. Ooh, speaking of which, this is cat drama. Hold on, let me get water. This is cat drama that my friend was telling me about. Cat drama by like me drama. She's talking to this guy that she likes, and that person does not like me at all. Well, does he's never met me, doesn't know me. He just knows of me. Because my friend is the kind who she loves and cherishes all of her like closest friends. Would always tell people stories about it. And the guy she's talking to is how would you say this? She could do better, like way better. And I never say that. And, a lot of people mistake that as a physical appearance thing. I'm talking personality. They are, oops, sorry, wrong button. They are kind of lame, for lack of a better term, right? They're just like the typical possessive, jealous, Sigma bro kind of guy. To the extent that they are really unhappy that that my friend has other male friends, and they always bitch and moan about it, right? To the point that, okay, this, I hope you guys don't judge me or my friends, but usually whenever we discuss other people, we always have nicknames for them, right? So that no one overhears what we're talking about. Or sometimes I would personally, I forget names, so I'm like, which one was that again? And then someone chimes in with like, oh, they're the one who is like so so and so. You know what this person is referred to as? This one is referred to as whiny bitch, right? So he complains about everything, right? Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like that. So he's constantly complaining and trying to like mold her into like his image of what he wants his partner to be like, which is kind of laughable because the friend in question is probably one of the most I want to say headstrong, but the word is stubborn. You know what? Probably both. They're basically the same thing. She's not gonna change for nobody, right? Not unless she wants to. So yeah, whenever he has complaints like that, he's one of the complaints is, oh, he's taking care of your cat, and that like made him jealous and stuff. So yeah, have you ever seen like that meme of people being jealous of like other people's like pets and stuff? So yeah, one of his concerns was, yeah, he's a guy, he's like always around. You have all these pictures with him on your social media. He's looking after your cat. Right there and then, like as she was telling me this thing, I was like, the cat? Really? Okay, if he wants, let him send me his address. I will send him the invoice. And he can take the cat if he wants. I say this because it cost should I say this? Yeah, it's fine. It cost me like a couple thousand US dollars to ship my friend's cat with me. This is not counting Julian. This is one cat, right? So it is an insane purchase to do, especially if you are what's it called? If you are a young cat like me, starting their career, etc., moving to a new country where there's lots of expenses, crazy irresponsible thing. So, must be a rich man. No, he was just complaining because as soon as she told him that, um, what's it called? She didn't tell him about the address, invoice, all that stuff. She just said, "Do you want to take care of the can?" Immediately he went silent. He was not interested. He just wanted to complain. That is why he has the name. He's not making valid. He's not having a valid discussion. He's not saying like, "Hey, this is an issue. Let's work towards." This. He just wants to whine and complain. That is why we call him that. You're young. Yeah. Just the other day, I saw. Okay, Just the other day I saw a group of people who I think are like uni students, and immediately they were being very loud in a public space, and I was like, oh god, the youth. I wish the holidays were over so the children go back to school. I thought you were over 40. No, I'm just an old soul. In fact, if I'm not I'm not going to tell you guys how old I am, right? Now, physically, I look like way younger. Like if you look at me, you'd be like, that is a guy who is maybe fresh out of high school, or maybe they're a university student, you know? That's like the kind of vibe you would get just like looking at me, because I have a very youthful appearance. Um to the point that when I was at the store, I was buying Panadol, headache medication. I am getting ID checked. Why? Right? It's I think that's the first time like it ever happened, because here in the UK I think they're a bit more careful when it comes to like medicines and stuff. Oh, in Malaysia no one cared. You could just go into a store, buy whatever. Yeah, excuse me. You could just go into a store, buy whatever, no one cared. But yeah, here they have a policy where you have to be 25 and like above to buy like certain stuff, and I'm older than that. So there I was at the store trying to buy something, and then the self checkout counter keeps giving me this warning, and like a light went on, and I had no idea what was going on. Then one of the store attendants showed up, and then she was like, "Oh, hi, I have to just check your ID, make sure you're of age, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Fortunately, I did have my UK driver's license. I'm like, "Hey, does this work?" And she's like, "Yep, all good." Gave me the stuff. It happened a lot in Malaysia when I would take a lot of, well, it's called Grab, but it's basically Malaysian Uber, like the e taxi, right? I think that's what they're called. So a lot of them would just like strike up conversation. They take one look at me. They're like, "Oh, what course are you studying? Which university do you go to? What is?" I'm like, This is the part that made me laugh. I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a student. I work here." And then they always get very confused, right? This is less so with the drivers, but more if I meet someone face to face and I'm just like chatting. They always have this very confused look. They're like, "Oh, okay. What are you working as?" And then I give them very technical job title, and then you can almost see like the loading buffer on their head, and then they look at me and they're like, "But he looks." They probably think of like, "But he looks like a baby. What is he doing? What is he doing working like that?" That kind of stuff. Maybe they thought it was like a yeah. I don't know. I'm just rambling here, but yeah, they whatever their expectations are, right? They're always expecting something else, right? And then they just see like my face, and then they hear like what I'm talking about and what I do, and then like they're like, something is not adding up here, you know. It hasn't happened here. The closest thing is, what's it called? The closest thing is just like getting ID checked at the store sometimes. But other than that, I actually don't talk to people while here. Yeah. I think yeah, ever since I moved here, I'm either mostly at home, or if I go out, I'm going out shopping or for a walk. Like I don't go to places to like yap with people. So yeah, I have a lot less conversations with strangers compared to how it was in Malaysia. So yeah, maybe if I get to know more people here, or just like strike up conversations with strangers, I'll get back to you guys and see if it's the same thing here. I don't think I made any progress with this work in the past 30 minutes. Whoops. Okay, don't need that. In other news, I was watching someone stream the Horror Skull game. Yeah. Now, I have never seen any gameplay of it. I know it exists and I know kind of what the game is about and what it looks like. Yada, yada, yada. Yes, that one. I only know it as Horse Girl Game. And that's apparently, you say Horse Girl Game and everyone knows what you're talking about. Yeah, I popped into a Extrude stream. He's here sometimes, right? So I just popped in, having a little chat, watching the game, and there's something that struck me about the game. Their poses and the way they stand, right? Hold on, let me see if I can get some pictures. You know what? Let me copy the name. Thanks for typing it out for me. Let me see if I can find some images. I think something I really liked was while playing the game, the characters when they're standing, the way they pose, right? Now, if you've this is like in the dialogue scenes, not the racing, right? If you're playing like a dating simulator or any a visual novel, etc., their poses are very exaggerated, very dramatic, right? But while watching gameplay of the Horse Skull game, I realized something. Their poses were very cute, but at the same time very subtle, right? And I was sitting there thinking to myself, because I was seeing like a lot of different poses from different characters, etc. I'm thinking, you know what this game would be amazing for? References. When making live 2D models. Now, the usual trend, I see people shying away from this in recent years, but the usual trend was model just standing straight, arms pinned to the side, very neutral pose, right? Almost like an action figure. But I kind of don't like those poses. I like it being a bit more dynamic. They feel too stiff to me. I'm not seeing any pictures here. You know what? Let's type gameplay. I'm looking for an image so I can show you guys. Mm, where's one? I'm not seeing the one I was thinking about, but let me see if I can find another one. Hold on, sorry. I'm just looking at images. You know what? We'll make do with this one. Yeah, like the way they stand, like some of them are maybe leaning slightly to the side, arm is on their hip, maybe other hand is doing something else. Wait a minute. Where is everyone? No one's on screen. Whoops. Uh I forgot to open the stream avatars thing. Whoopsie. Yeah, when I said like where's everyone, I meant the little guys on screen, you know. Okay, I opened it earlier today. Now I have this bad habit of closing Steam, right? Now streaming avatars, VTube Studio, all that stuff runs on Steam. So today, like I was kind of tired and I saw Steam was open. So what I did was like I'll just right click and close it because like I don't like it being open if I'm not using it. Unfortunately, I was using it. It closed all of the apps. It also closed streaming avatars, and I didn't realize I forgot to open it up again. Oopsie. But yeah, the characters would always have like cute poses. They're standing like this, all of that stuff. This one is just very a bit neutral, very generic. But I just want to like share the idea, right? I don't think there's any more. Like I did see the pictures of it. You know what? Maybe one day we'll play the horse skull game and we're like looking for art references. Yeah, not even the art style or design or anything. Just like the way the characters are standing. That's what I liked. So yeah, I'm like, I might play the game after all. So yeah, we find references in all the strangest places. You might like Gold Ship. I've seen some funny poses from that character in other streams. Oh, wait, which one was she? Was she the one that I've seen a few memes. Was she the one that always beats people up? Oh yeah, I always see memes about her. The 12 billion yen incident horse. What did they do? Ooh, okay, this is perfect. Right, right, right. This is exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, like if they're standing like this, imagine the head is just facing forward, but like, they're standing like this, legs almost crossed over, arms they're holding a unique pose rather than kind of just like standing. That's something I've really been enjoying. If you even look at my model, it's in a in quotes pose. So yeah, it's asymmetrical, which makes it harder to rig, but in my opinion, I think gives more life to it. Because I don't like models that kind of just stand straight, with the exception of if you've seen James's model, the way he's like standing up, the hands behind his back, that's the kind of pose that, how would you say this? It brings life to the character. That's what I like. Something like this brings life to the character. For example, if they are like a, apparently this one is problematic and bratty. So if they have the pose, it brings out the personality truly just by looking at it, even before the person speaks, before they do anything. That is what I'm looking for. So I want to create like a whole bunch of, I'm gonna create basically like a folder reference of poses. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start picking models and give them very dynamic poses like that. It's just a thought. I think working on the full body model, it's made me want to create more and more. I haven't done them in a very long time. So yeah, now that I did, I'm like, I got the taste for it. I want to do more. Okay, 12 billion yen incident. I want to, what is this about? I'm just gonna search this up real quick. Okay. The 12 billion yen accident. Um, okay, this person is just yapping about a lot of stuff. Now imagine it's 2015, he won the race, blah, blah, blah. Well, they wrote a giant paragraph, but did not even say what the event was. So that's a terrible post. Okay, I found an article. The anime horse girl who's terrorizing gacha players in, I can't pronounce that name, is based on a real chaotic racing horse who once instantly obliterated 12 billion yen in betting losses. Hmm. Goldship is an ungovernable gremlin. She's fickle, irritable. She'll often refuse to train or inflict herself with a slacker condition, force you to derail your racing prep to clear it. In races, she may choose to lazily hang at the back of the pack. When she wants to win, she can sometimes kick on afterburners. Okay, okay. She's one of a very dramatic horse. But what was the incident? Okay, here it is. The real Goldship's crowning achievement of a spectacular failure took place in 2015 after starting the season. Blah, blah, blah. Goldship was on fire. He entered the paddock, overwhelming favorite. Okay, these people really need to learn to get to the point. As the race started, spectators watched in horror as Goldship went into an inexplicable fit, leaving a gate a full 10 horses length behind, an insurmountable gap which would lead to a dismal 15th place and So many people were betting on it. So many people were betting on the horse, and they all lost their money, which is basically 12 billion yen. So yeah, hey, horse racing is gambling. Don't do gambling. Dramatic gold ship kicked people multiple times. I wish I could kick people multiple times. You know what? Favorite horse, 10 out of 10. They don't have to win. They just have to be themselves. I like this horse already. You know what? Maybe one day we'll get into the game. Yeah, I'm looking at the art style. Hold on, here it is. This is what I mean by good art, good expressions, good pose, right? You can have never seen any of the horses' behavior. You already know that they're like bratty and problematic, just based on like the art alone. So that's sort of the things I want to start doing. But it was also a major stud and has made a ton of money from stud fees. Oh yeah. That's the crazy thing about horses. If they're just really fast and good, you can make a ton of money even if they don't win races just by, selling like, horse juice for lack of a better term. Maybe I'll find a gallery of all of Oh, oops. I was about to close the entire app. Yeah, maybe I'll find like a gallery of just like all of the horses, all of their poses and art. It might save me the trouble of playing the entire game. I don't think it's a kind of game for me. I'm not a big fan of gotcha and chance. Gambling jokes aside, I truly like a cause and effect rather than drop rate, chance, winning, losing, etc. But that's just me. I am told sometimes I have, and I'm told this lovingly, control freak tendencies. Yeah, especially in group projects. Wasn't Goldship the horse that ran fast after retirement? Ooh, were they the one that, even though they retired, they kept running around and forcing like the other horses to run as well? Oh yeah, I saw what they did was not only did they run faster, they would also encourage the other horses with them to run as well. Right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna start running in circles around this guy, and then they're gonna start running with me. So a problem that a problem with that is I can't remember what the problem. There was a problem, but they're like, wait a minute, this horse, we can't stop him from running. They put weights on them, they put this, they put that, they tried to stop them from running so much, but the horse wouldn't stop and it would get other horses as well. So what they did was, okay, what if we take overweight horses, put them next to this one, and then this one will encourage them to run more, and then that overweight horse will lose weight. And apparently, yeah, that's what they started doing. I thought that was funny. I didn't know it was about this horse. I thought it was just about a random horse. The more you know. If Goldship was a human, he would be a meme lord. I feel like if they were human, they would probably be a terrible troll online. That's the thing you guys need to understand about animals. Um, by animal standards, they're okay. By human standards, they're complete asses. For example, cats. I don't think I need to explain further. If they're a cat, they're small, they're being moody, grumpy, be like, oh, so cute, so adorable. But if a human being does the exact same behavior, you just look at them and like, what a little shit? So yeah, that's careful what you wish for. Cats are just the roommates that never clean up after themselves, and you ask them, they cover rent this month. Oh yeah, they ask you if you can. Yeah, they're just terrible. They will probably just not even feel like they should be paying rent. You know, like a cat. That's a their belief system is very odd in the sense that they think you live in their house. What makes me laugh is wait, hold on. As they're about to start, it's okay. We'll wait for that to finish and then we continue the story. Because how do you say this? I may be a say so streamer, but other people have very lewd communities. An example would be Feather. He's here sometimes. Um, so yeah. We'll talk about lewd people in a second. We'll wait for the ads to start and finish. Yeah. Perfect time to grab a snack, go to the bathroom, refill your water bottle, and we'll be back shortly. I mean, I'll still be here, but we save the storytelling for when there is no ad jail. There are some people who they always say like, "Hey, sub to the channel so you don't get ads, you don't miss a thing, blah blah blah." I feel like that's I can understand the monetary incentive, right? If someone is making their income from stream, yeah, like that's all good. There's no right or wrong answer or right or wrong way to do it. I just see them like, I don't want to force people to pay for stuff. Like again, I make my I make my income through art and all of that stuff, not through streaming. Streaming 100% purely hobby. So yeah, it's not monetized in the sense that you get anything for subs. You get a few emotes, but that's about it. And the emotes, I basically made them for myself. Yeah. I don't know if you ever see me. I'm a very emote heavy user when I'm in other people's chats. So yeah, I just pop up, do the wave emote, or something funny happens. I do the laughing emote, that kind of stuff. So I made them for myself. So yeah, the point of that was you don't have to pay to get the full Ordikai experience while you're here. It's fine. We'll wait for the ads to finish. And yeah, maybe I should bring back Minesweeper. Minesweeper. Just earlier today, I was in someone's stream and they were showing something like on their browser. Ow. They're showing something on their browser and they were doing display capture, right? Instead of capturing like the browser, they would just capture their entire screen. And, that's kind of dangerous because, you can be doxxed, right? Now, why did I just randomly bring this up? Because I accidentally hovered over the weather section on. Oh, ads are done. Yeah, as I was saying, capturing your entire screen on OBS if you want to be anonymous, very dangerous. Just because right now I was trying to click on something, I accidentally hovered over the weather section on my PC. On the taskbar, bottom left corner. Now it pops up. Not only does it show like news of like the country and stuff, it also shows the weather, the temperature, and the name of the town where I live. Right there in the corner. I'm like, if I was on display capture, now everyone knows where I live. So if you're a streamer, be very careful with that. It's a much larger hassle to individually capture everything one by one, but at the same time, it does help you stay anonymous. If you're in like a big city, it's okay. But if you're like in a small town, yeah. You also have to be careful on YouTube. Sometimes they pull up. When I pull it up, it talks about ghost malls in my area. Oh yeah, the entire internet is designed. It's not really designed to be streamer friendly. It's mostly designed to for just the average Joe by their computer, in their own privacy, etc. Right? So whenever they make apps like this, they always try to personalize it as much as possible because I don't know why. Some people like the idea of their own Jarvis, their own personal assistant. So anything that seems to know you a lot and do things for you, like, oh, this is your calendar. Good morning, person. They add their name and all that stuff. I really don't like that because I don't like putting my details out there. Even if I'm not a streamer, artist, or anything, just like I don't like it. Identity theft and all that stuff happens. It increases interaction with the site exactly. So it's a user experience kind of thing. Now, on one hand, it makes some people feel nice that this thing knows me. It's very personal. Blah blah blah. I have a friend who uses I don't think ChatGPT, but it's one of those other AI bots. And they're like, oh, I really like this thing because it's very personalized to you, your personality, and blah blah blah. So I do get it. Some people do enjoy that as a feature. I just really don't like it because I don't want to give any of my personal information out there. B, it's a bit of a security risk if you're streaming and stuff. So whenever I open my browser, I only open like guest mode. So it's not logged into anything. It doesn't have any of Yeah, it's not logged into anything, doesn't have any of my search history, nothing like that. So I don't just like press, I go onto like the browser, I start typing and then immediately it tries to autofill like my PayPal stuff and you see all my information and all that good stuff. Or for example, maybe I'm trying to type in IGN, like we're looking for an article. I type in it autofills Instagram. There you have my IRL human disguise social media. That kind of stuff. So you got to be very, very careful if you're interested in streaming. So yeah, I did point that out. Um, so yeah, gotta be careful. I have 4 different browsers with different security settings that I use depending on what I'm doing. Oh yeah, that's wise, especially in today's day and age. I'm not in cybersecurity. I have when it comes to like internet safety, I have okay, I don't even want to say common literacy because the average is like way down. But I have basic internet safety literacy, for lack of a better term, right? I don't know what it's called. So I only do the very basic stuff, like how do you say this? Like I said, using guest mode and things like that. The reason is I may not understand how the system works, but I do understand like they are security risks that I may not see, right? So I never save any of the passwords on my browser and stuff. It usually if I type in maybe my card details, it's like, hey, remember this card for next time. I'm like, nope, right? Because even then, for some reason, I'm not sure how this happened. Someone did get access to all of my card details. They had all the information, right? Like a card number, the pin at the back, everything. And for some reason, I'm not sure how, but they managed to set up the card as a recurring payment that did not require yeah, it did not require like immediate authentication, like two-factor authentication completely bypassed, right? And they tried to spend like $500 buying something on like Facebook Marketplace. Now, it's definitely not me because, I don't use Facebook. I think the last time I had Facebook was in like 2014. So yeah, the only reason I was fine is because I have prepared for this. My contingency plan is, I think I did this before. I explained it on stream once. I have, let me just quickly draw this out. I have my, my PayPal. All right. This is how I accept commissions. Let me turn this setting down. Yeah, I have PayPal. PayPal is basically just anything that gives me money online, any e-wallet, etc. Now this goes to, this is withdrawn into bank. All right. Now, if I want to spend money, what I do is I put it into something like Wise. It's called Wise Payments, I think. So this is basically a prepaid debit card. You give them money and then you can spend. Yeah, it's like a credit card you just top up before in advance. Wise Payment. Typing is hard. Not typing, drawing is hard. Wise Payments and then online store. So with this one, I use this one's card and I only keep like $100 on here. So that if someone ever gets my card details, data breaches, all of that stuff, right? They can only come here and get $100 maximum. Now, most people, if they get access to your card, they're not gonna spend it on very low purchases like I don't think most do the long con, right? You don't just like go under the radar, buy very small things and hope no one notices. They just go for like one and done, right? Major purchase, get the thing, leave before the person notices, cancels the card, right? So what happens is they try doing this, and then since I only have $100 in it, they say insufficient funds. It bounces, it doesn't work, right? And yeah, this is completely kept safe. Bank account completely kept safe because this is basically the meat shield over here. So even if someone steals my card details, they only get the Wise payment stuff. This is basically e-wallet, right? I do have a bank account, like the debit card for my bank account. I never use it for anything, let alone online stores. So yeah. So that's how I try to stay safe. Because as a creator online, like an artist especially, a lot of the how do you say this? A lot of my stuff is out there. So yeah, I'm very cautious. I'm not sure how, but there was a scam where some people, I would see this on Instagram when I used to have it, right? People would DM my Ordikai account and they'd be like, "Oh, I love your thing. I want to commission this art, blah blah blah." And immediately I was suspicious because I do live 2D rigging, but they wanted some illustrations and drawings, which I've never posted any information about, right? So I was immediately suspicious, but I didn't say anything. I was like, "Okay, let's see." They gave me like, "Oh, I want image of my son, his dog, blah blah blah," giving me BS life story. And was like, that sounds great, right? And they're like, "What is your PayPal email so that I can send you like the money and stuff?" Um, Immediately I'm like, they want the PayPal email. Now, if they have the email address, I don't think they can like get that much out of it because it's not exactly the hardest information to find. But I'm like, this feels like a trap. So I was like, hi, thank you for reaching out, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm like, I accept payments through, and I redirected them to VGen. Right? I'm like, yeah, we use this thing. They're like, oh, I'm not comfortable using other platforms. I prefer directly through PayPal. So I'm like, suspicious. So I'm like, oh, that's okay. Even though it goes through VGen, all of the payments are done via PayPal anyway. So it's just one extra step in the middle. And otherwise, it is a normal PayPal thing. And then they started insisting, like, no, 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 I would prefer just directly. And, they started BSing. I was like, this feels very shady. So I just stopped replying to them, right? Now, I'm not sure how someone can, breach my PayPal if they only have the email. But I'm cautious enough to know, like, if they want this information, it's probably useful. So I'm not gonna give it to them. I think you can get that information if you commission someone like through PayPal and stuff. It does generate the link, and when they make the payment there and they check like their transaction history, I think it's there. But I'm like, if they're not gonna like do if they're not gonna go through like that steps and stuff to get like the information, I'm like, yeah, this sounds very suspicious. I'm very fortunate enough to have never gotten scammed as an artist. I did watch a lot of videos of like common scams, red flags, etc. And yeah, in my I don't know, I think I've been doing this for what, 3 years ish. Yeah, ever since I started first taking money for commissions, not even full time artists, right? I don't think I've ever had any major issues. So yeah, so far so good. Usually they try to act like they forget the password, gain the password reset, or they have a person on the inside. Yeah, the password reset I think is a bit harder to do these days. I remember back in the day, like when Facebook first came out, if you just had someone's email, you just type it in, put forget password, you can get in like 10 minutes, right? Security was like the most lax thing ever. So I remember when I was like really, yeah, when I was like kind of young and Facebook was like a thing, I'd always like, I would always, I would give people the impression that, oh, I am hacker man, right? Because like as a bit, uh, someone, how would you say this? I would just like troll someone. And like, I only do this with friends, by the way. This is a terrible thing to do to someone who you're not too close to or familiar with, right? Now, most people don't put a recovery email back then, right? So I'm not sure what was going through Facebook's head at the time, or maybe they didn't like have anything going through, right? But if you just go forget password and there's no like backup information, they would essentially just email you a link to just change the password, and I think maybe ask like a couple questions, not even like the security questions you set up. I can't remember what the process was. This was many, many, many years ago, right? But you could get access to like anyone's Facebook account within like 10 minutes if you knew their email. So yeah, but person on the inside is a first, and that is terrifying. Another trick to bypass two-factor authentication is get someone to run an application that captures the session cookies and then place them in the browser. They can interact with this if you're logged in, and that is why I never save like my card on most like online stores. So yeah, in case someone I did hear about that recently. I know a lot of I think there's a lot of VTubers were receiving this scam where people would reach out with, I think, like fake sponsorship stuff, and they'd have a PDF file which basically would yoink like their, yeah, like you said, session cookies. I think it was something token. I can't remember the name, right? But it'll basically log in. It'll basically yoink all of their login details, and sometimes if they don't get access to, maybe if they don't get access to things like PayPal and stuff, maybe it's a different email. Sometimes they get access to YouTube accounts that maybe have like thousands, if not tens of thousands, some cases hundreds of thousands of followers, right? And then from there, what they do is they convert it to crypto scams, and then Either they convert it to crypto scams or they go to those people and sell them the account. Say, like, hey, I have an account, 100,000 followers, pay me X amount of money, account is yours, you do what you want with it. And then people who want to run crypto scams, they buy those accounts and they just start pumping out content like that. So yeah, it does happen. I think I heard about this maybe a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so be very cautious when you're opening emails. I saw someone talk about like their security. What they do is they have one email not associated with any other account, right? It's just a business email. It's not associated with YouTube, not associated with anything. It's just to receive emails, and then they have that email logged in on a completely separate machine that, again, is not logged into anything, doesn't have any of like the shared Google profiles, yada yada yada. Completely isolated system. So even if someone yoinks like the even if someone yoinks all of the session cookies, there's nothing there. There's nothing for them to yoink. So yeah, it's getting kind of extreme, Back then, scams were very face to face or obvious, but as technology advances, scammers get a bit smarter. Yeah, I like to use either VM or Raspberry Pi for that. I have an old PC. Um, it's the one I got before this gaming one. It's basically an office PC that I bought from a government clearance sale, right? So when I was interning at a place, the boss just comes in and is like, "Hey guys, I know someone who knows someone who knows someone who works at this government place, and they're all upgrading their computers. So they're selling their old PCs for like dirt cheap prices. I think I got a computer that's worth like $700 for only like a couple $100. So it was a steal, right? And I used that computer for a very long time. I had a potato laptop. That laptop is 10 years old and it's still going strong, right? It could run basic games, but I needed an upgrade. And I saw this was an opportunity to get something a little bit better for very low cost. So I got that computer. And ever since I got this gaming computer, it's kind of just been sitting there collecting dust. So I'm like, maybe I can just clear everything, fresh Windows install, all of that stuff. And then maybe this will be my very secure computer, the one maybe I receive work emails on, etc., this and that. So yeah, maybe it's something I can work on. I don't have a monitor for it. I have two monitors, but I use them for my main PC. I considered buying a third one, but I'm like, I don't use the second PC often enough to justify buying it. So yeah, there is a secondhand computer store nearby. Maybe if I find a really good deal on like an old monitor, yeah, I'll buy it. Might run Linux on it since Windows 10 is EOL. I'm not sure what EOL or TPM means, but Linux does sound good. I do have some experience with Linux. I would end of life. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. Thanks for that. Yeah, I do have experience with Linux. I did try building a couple robots with a Pi. So yeah, when I moved, I scrapped everything. So I just have it in a box somewhere. There was a time where I would turn it into a network attached storage, um, so that I could have it like connected wirelessly. But then I realized A, transfer speeds were a lot slower because it's wireless, and C, I didn't use it often enough. So I essentially just scrapped that idea, put it away. Now, if I want to back up my data, I just have like a handful of hard drives that maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, I just plug into my PC, copy all of the data in my main hard drive onto I'd basically clone my main hard drive onto like four different copies, and then keep them around. It's much faster when I have it on my PC itself rather than wireless. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need a wireless storage thing. I think this one runs Windows 10. Ooh, this one is actually a pretty good. Yeah, I think it's an i5 eighth generation, not like the latest, not the latest CPU, but decent enough to do like office work, right? It could also run like basic games. I remember playing things like Overcooked on it with some friends. So yeah, it's not the oldest thing. Maybe I think it can run Windows 11. Yeah, I upgraded it to Windows 11 the other day. Yeah, I just remembered, and it runs fine. It's not a problem. Maybe when it comes to Windows 12, it will struggle. So yeah. Hmm. I got two monitors again just by asking around the family, searching through their basements. It's only 1080p, but I know it works for me. Hey, if it's free, it's free. I think 1080p. I think mine is 1080p. Hold on. Let me Google this. Yeah, my big monitor is 1080p. My second one is slightly smaller. I think that one is 720p. So yeah, I have a 1080p monitor, and let me just double check. Yeah, my smaller monitor, which has things like OBS, Twitch chat, etc. That one is 720p. Yeah, my main one is 1080. But hey, even this one, I bought it while in Malaysia, and I got it from like a secondhand store. And this thing was like, I think like 30 to 40, $30 to $40, right? So I felt like that was a really good price for it. So yeah, my biggest thing that I was looking for is just the size of the screen. Yeah, I wanted a larger one. It seemed okay. It had a large screen and low price, and I'm not the when it comes to like all of the technical details and stuff of like the monitors and things like that, smartphones, monitors, things like that, not my strong suit. So I asked a friend, I'm like, this thing looks okay on paper. What's wrong with it? So he just like looked around, inspected the stuff, read the spec sheet. He's like, this is a good monitor. The only downside is I can't remember what lighting he said it uses. It's like oh, maybe the images won't be like the most crisp thing ever. But I'm like, mm, I don't notice a difference between this one and my other monitor. I think like differentiating color is not my strong suit. You know, I'm not colorblind or anything. It's just I just I look at a whole bunch of colors and be like, yep, they're all red. You know, I don't really tell the different shades apart. Even like my model back before I started just using the color picker, a lot of the art was of supposedly the same thing. A lot of the art, the color was always slightly different from different pieces of art simply because I could never really tell them apart. It's only like when you put them side by side, I'm like, there is a difference, you know? But I guess it's noticeable for others, but maybe not so much for me. So yeah, I didn't mind it. I just bought it, and yeah, I now have a second monitor. To be fair, the 720p monitor, it came for free with like the PC when I bought it. It was like a package deal. You get the monitor, you get the tower, you get keyboard, mouse, everything, right? They basically just they put it in a box and it was like, here you go. I can't remember what the box was for. It was for some other appliance. And yeah, that's how I got my PC. It was only when I went to work in Malaysia. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a good amount of time, so I'm just gonna invest in getting like my gaming PC. I don't want to get it as a student. Like I could buy it then, but I'm like, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna move. Traveling internationally with a big ass computer is a nightmare. Trust me. Take it from me. You know. So when I was there, I was working. I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm not gonna move for the foreseeable future. So yeah, I just got the PC. And then I started seeing the very shady stuff happening at my old workplace. I'm like, I have to get the hell out of here. In fact, I was watching you know, if you guys, do you guys know that company? I think Builder.ai, right? They were the ones who like, hey, just give us a command prompt or like tell us what app you want, and our state of the art AI will generate the app for you. You know, like full everything. It was a scam. It was basically it wasn't AI doing the work. It's basically they got humans in other countries to do the work for them, build the app manually, and then they go, "Here you go. This was made by AI. Our system works. Invest in our company." Right now, that documentary was talking about other stuff like, oh, when you talk to this person, he would always say things like, "This is this," or they talk about like company policy, mindset things. And I'm like, this is sounding very familiar and not in a good way. So yeah, I think the most important thing that I learned in that workplace was spotting red flags. You know, most people work in like five different places, and from each of them, they learn one or two red flags and move on with experience. I think I had the crash course in how not to run a company while working there. Because, yeah, it was wild. It's not defamation if I don't say which company it is, right? Yeah, they played very fast and loose with the law, paperwork and documentation, right? That was not seen as important, which kind of made them shoot themselves in their foot a lot of the time. And yeah, they would just do things for the sake of doing it. I think the wildest one was the company business license, you know, the little piece of paper that says, we are so and so, we do this thing, the government has authorized us to perform X service, right? Most important document a company can have. That thing was not faked but created badly, in the sense that, for example, say you are a PC building company, right? Say you make computers, you make gaming computers. Now, if you're building a company and you're deciding what business license to take, you're like, oh, there's no computers here, but washing machines. Washing machines have electronics, computers have electronics. We're just going to check the box next to washing machines, right? And then they had that and they hung it up somewhere, right? It's like tucked away in a little it was like on the wall in like I think one of the meeting rooms or something. So yeah, no one noticed until I was having to secure some documents for like international shipping. And the government couldn't approve of it because they're like, hey, you said your company does this, but your business license says that. And I was like, oh, I did not know that because I don't speak the language. So when I talked to my bosses about it, they're like, yeah, they didn't have a category. So we just wrote down whatever. This was the closest thing. I was like, uh, I think that counts as fraud, you know? So yeah, it was wild. Anyway, I have working there, I have developed I have developed an ick. The word mindset always rubs me the wrong way. Even when I use it, like whenever I use it in a sentence, I immediately pause. I'm like, ew, you know? Because their solution to sorry, this has become me bitching about the corporate lifestyle. By the way, it's not all corporate lifestyle. It's just if you're in a shitty company, right? The solution to a lot of things was having the right mindset. So I'm like, okay, this document is filed incorrectly, and as a result, I can't do my job. How do you suggest that I proceed from here? You should have the right mindset of learning to solve your own problems and blah 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 blah. You know, that kind of BS. So yeah, I think ever since I moved, I think I need a little break from the corporate lifestyle. So that's why I've just been doing art full time, and to be fair, I've been really enjoying it. Never join a company that says that, like it's a family. Oh yeah. I think what I learned is never to join startups. If you okay, maybe not never. They could be a fun experience, but like I think I've been put off on startups. They're if they're very new, maybe you can go in, get some experience, learn some stuff. If you're at the beginning of your career and you know nothing about working, startups probably a good way to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff because, yeah, you'll be, as they say, wearing many hats, which is basically you're doing the job of three people, but will only get one salary. Now, if your goal is experience, that could be helpful, right? You'll get exposed to so many different things in a short amount of time, right? So that was my case because I was doing X job, but I was also running a lot of the legal stuff as well. I am not trained to do anything legal related and or otherwise. So yeah, they're basically like, "Hey, we need this done," and then I'm handed executive level documents to the point that I know exactly. Okay, they mishandle like employee information so much to the point that I was accidentally granted access to like everyone's payroll. So like I knew exactly how much each and every person was making, and I was looking at it like, I'm paid basically nothing working there. And my coworkers, the friends that I worked with there, right? They've been working there for years. Their pay was not that much better. So yeah. At first I thought like, hey, my salary is low, but I'm just starting out, all of that stuff. And then I looked at their stuff and I'm like, oh, they actually don't make a lot of money. Like salary wise, like each person, even like the CEO, he made like a decent amount of money, like a good chunk. But I'm like, if I do full time art and have like if I have like a really good month, like for commission stuff, like once in a blue moon, if mine was consistent like that, I'd probably be the highest paid person at that company. So I'm like, were they making good bread or just over current burnt dough? If you're talking about money, they were not profitable at all. They were bleeding investor money like no tomorrow, and they've been a company for like a few years now, so they're kind of losing their startup status. Most companies they do this. They go as a startup. They're like, hey, we cannot make money, but we need money to run and build everything up, and then we can start becoming profitable. That's how startups are supposed to work, good ones at least. However, they've just been getting like investor money. They're still not profitable several years later. And yeah, not only are they like not profitable now, they have other competitors. They had the advantage of being like one of the first companies doing what they were doing at the time, but now so many other people are starting to do the same. I'm like, okay, they rely on government grants and investors to work, but they have very young competitors popping up and already they're being surpassed. I'm like, this company is not going to survive long. Yeah, they do have a few employees, right? A couple of my friends, they basically do the job of like four people each, and they are burnt out to hell, right? One of them recently just got married. Like right before I traveled, I attended his wedding. It was super cute, super nice, right? And I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, I'm starting a family now, blah blah blah." He was working at that company with the intention of the company growing, so that when everything expands, he's already at the top of the short ladder. So if the ladder grows, he gets carried to the top as well. But he's losing faith that the company will ever get to that point because he's like, I've been working here for years. They are some people who are entry level employees at other companies, and they're already making more than I am, right? So he was investing in it as well. He was like, okay, I'm not making much now, but if it grows, it's great for him, right? But he's like, I don't think it's starting to grow. The other one who's like, he's basically the foundation of the company, these two people, right? More than the bosses. Another one is like, hey, he's like, yeah, I've reached that age where I now have to like think about my life and the direction that it's going. It's like a lot of my other friends, when they reach this age, they all had major decisions, whether moving to different countries, moving to other companies, doing this, doing that, right? Even put it is like, yeah, you're about like the same age and now you're moving to a different country, you're doing this, you're doing that. So yeah, he's like, okay, he's like, if I leave, then that friend, other one who got married, he's gonna die because no one else can do what I do and pick up the slack. So instead of doing four people's work, he's gonna do eight people's work and he's gonna die. It's like, and if that person leaves, I'm gonna die because I can barely do four people's work. I can't do eight people's work. So it's like, if we're gonna leave, I have to discuss with him, and like, if one of us is leaving, the other has to leave as well. Like they cannot do it one at a time, right? So they're like, yeah, they have that agreement. I'm like, the day these people leave, that company is going belly up instantly. And not to be a petty bitch, but I wait for that day. Yeah, I'm not a nice cat. I don't even pray for the downfall. I just watch for the downfall of the people I don't like, and I let them handle the rest on their own. Very hands off. Karmic justice is a beautiful thing. Remember when I said we could finish this today? Good times. But yeah, it's made me become very, very wary of the kind of company culture that a place has. If I want to go back into like the corpo world, you know. So yeah, I learned a lot. Um, this is basically my break. I don't think I've taken a break ever since I really started university. Because I graduated high school. I didn't take a gap year, or whatever. I literally squeezed into the earliest university intake. So imagine this: you graduate high school, you wait like a month or so for like your final results. I get them, immediately go into uni. I take all of those short semesters, the ones in between the main ones, just so that I can finish my classes, graduate even sooner, right? Immediately after that, I go home for a bit. That was basically my first break in like a little while. Yeah, in many years actually. Saw my parents, saw my family, hung out at my country, remembered how much I hated and don't want to be here, and then went to work at that company in Malaysia for about a year. And then immediately after that, I moved to the UK, and now I am working as artist, which is pretty nice because I have like my own working hours and all of that stuff. It's a double-edged sword, right? I can take a break whenever I feel like it, but at the same time, if I take a break, there is no like a paid leave and all of that stuff. The moment I stop working, progress immediately stops. So yeah, I have to be very cautious with that. So if you ever see like a work from home or choose your own hours is like a very amazing thing. It's great if you're responsible. But if you thrive off of structure and other people telling you how things should work, you really need to learn to adapt and learn to make a schedule and follow it. I think I've seen some people talking about like well, they usually talk about like larger streamers and stuff who, it's like their full-time job and all of that stuff. They always see them as oh, they work their own hours, that's so nice, blah blah blah. They play games, they choose their own hours, they do this, they do that, right? But they still choose to do a lot of work, right? If you see like the amount of hours that people in content creation do compared to the people who work in like an office job, usually in content creation, it's about the same for full time, by the way. It's about the same, if not more, than working like a corporate job. So once you start work, you can't stop. Do you mean by working a corpo job, or do you mean just being productive? Sorry, because I can interpret that in like two different ways. So it's about the same about like the work hours. Yeah. A good source of this information is I think the streamer Ludwig. He made a couple of videos on basically how to be streamer, right? He made an old one, but he made a recent one as well, where instead of him just going like, "Hey, this is what you should do," I think it was like I asked 100 streamers how to do streaming, essentially, right? And since he's like one of the OGs of YouTube, one of the people at the top, he could ask really large creators, and they were the ones who were providing the advice. Because I'm always very wary of someone who's like, hey, this is how you get to 1 million followers. And then you look at their account and it's like 200 followers. So you're like, does it work? I mean, they could. They could be saying something that's correct. Like they could be getting their information from somewhere else, but I'm skeptical. I'm a firm believer of if this thing works, you know, you would probably be using it as well. But yeah, hey, sometimes they say coaches don't play. There are a couple channels like that. I think like actually just one, right? They have like a bit of a smaller base, but they talk about a lot about like streaming things. That one I feel like has a lot of good advice. I forgot the channel name. I have to find it again. I feel like they have a lot of good advice, even though they have like a not small. I think they have like 10. I think that the followers subscribers is like tens of thousands, right? So not the largest creators, but they're doing something right. So yeah. When in doubt, I just go to the biggest sources of information. Yeah, I think the most important ones, the ones that you can trust reliably, is I think the YouTuber Ludwig, the VTuber Cabal, and for occasional tidbits of wisdom, streamer Giga. Yeah, I do have like a channel in our Discord, right? I think it's a streaming community. So yeah, there's there's a couple channels in there. I think that's usually where we'd post like free stuff for like streaming assets, etc. But I added one at the bottom. It's just like helpful tips and guides or something like that. And it's basically all of the videos that I use to learn how streaming works and get started. And yeah, all of the stuff that I found super useful, I kind of just dumped in there. And yeah, if anyone is interested in streaming, I truly recommend giving it a watch. So yeah, that's information you now have. Not the most productive stream I've had, but it's nice to just relax. Yeah. hang out, have fun. After 1 giga video, then get a slew of them. Good. I would say one of my favorite creators, right? I like the very podcasty, educational side of the stream because their stream is kind of divided in two. They have a just chatting section, and the first half essentially is just chatting, and then the second half is like playing games. So yeah, I really like the yapping side, but that's just my personal taste. It's like listening to a podcast, you know, but it's not a podcast about like random people's takes and stuff like that. Um, it's very useful information. Like some of the times, sometimes it's just interesting fun facts. Other times it's just oh, working at this thing, doing that thing. This is the greatest way to like do this is this, that's actually very useful for me. So yeah, I really like that. I like learning, and that is not only educational, it's also entertaining. So that's a double win for me. It's very calming. I like them as well. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of loud screaming content creators. Like it's fun, fast paced, and exciting, sure, but most of the content I consume is, as Care said, promoted to background noise while I do my work and stuff. And a lot of her content is also catered towards that. So yeah, I really like that. I like them as well. Perfect. Usually, what I do is I only ever catch the first beginning parts of the streams, if at all, because yeah, it usually starts like at night for me. So yeah, the VOD channel has really come in clutch. Like for example, if I'm doing work, I just put on one of the VODs, just watch, listening, not even watching, just listening through as I work on art. Next thing I know, hours have passed, the yapping is still going on, and the model is complete. That's what I like. If something is very loud and distracting, I get distracted. So I like something that's interesting to listen to, but very easy to keep like in the background. So yeah, all I need to do work is a timer. Yeah, each people. Sorry, words failing me. Each person is different, so different things work for different people. I kind of mush those two sentences together. So yeah, I find just something consistent in the background, same level of energy throughout, rather than it's quiet, something happens, then screaming, back to quiet. Something that just has like the same amount of what's it called? The same energy throughout works wonders for me. Even like the BGM that we're listening to right now, it's very normalized in the sense of audio being normalized, like the peaks and valleys of the volume aren't like too big or not too much of difference. It doesn't get too loud or too soft. It's just like kind of consistent in the middle. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really like this playlist. It's kind of just there. I, for some reason, cannot work without the pressure of a time limit. Oh yeah, I can understand that. I don't think I have that too much. But like, yeah, when deadlines come in, like that second wind kicks in really fast. But I try not to live a very stress. For me, that puts me in a state of like anxiety and stress. So I try not to rely on that. I just do what I can when I can, and yeah, it seems to work out for me. It's not very consistent every time. Like one day I'll be super productive, and then the next I'll be have very slug like energy, and then back to being productive again. And that cycle repeats, and it eventually equalizes, and that's what works for me. It's like white noise, yeah. Okay. And my cats went to the litter box. I have a window that's open and the fan that's blowing the room air out, so it doesn't keep it musty. I'm just thinking about the winter. I'm like, because my cat's litter box is in my room, because, my cats are in my room. I might have to buy litter and change it a lot more frequently when it becomes winter, because, I don't think I can keep my window open in the winter. You know what? Maybe I should get my own place. The only reason I don't let my cats roam the house is there are other cats in this house and they are outdoor cats. The house is designed to let them in and out, right? Whenever they want. So they have like the cat doors, the back door is usually open. Sometimes people leave their window open so the cats can jump in and out, right? The cats can go out if they want to go out, right? And that's a bit of a problem because I prefer my cats are indoor, right? But the thing is, Julian is fine. She doesn't need that much space. But Wally loves adventure. He likes running around and doing things. And if he's in my room, he's very cramped. And yeah, he ends up being kind of depressed. He starts acting out. He starts being mean to Julian just to like have some excitement, I suppose. So yeah, that's the only reason I let him out. Otherwise, I'm one of those people who believe like cats should be indoor animals. But at the same time, if I kept him inside, he'll be very miserable. And then he'll start bothering Julian, and then she'll be miserable. And then they'll start fighting, and then I'll be miserable. So, yeah. In the winter, I think they close, like, they'll keep, yeah, of course, they'll have to keep, like, doors and windows closed. So, winter, they'll be fine. They can roam the house. But there is a chance maybe I'll move before winter. Who knows? I have no plans. I'm a leaf in the wind. So, yeah. I'm kind of just resting and recovering from all of the moves and the corpo lifestyle. Once I'm re-energized, you know what? Maybe I'll get back into that. Winter's now on that cold, yeah. But at the same time, you guys also say that 20 degrees Celsius is very hot. So I don't trust your definition of what aren't that cold actually means. So the reason is I am a tropical cat. My normal is 30 degrees Celsius, somewhere there, right? I was wrong on that one. I lowballed that hard. Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, because, to me, like 30 degrees Celsius is like the weather I'm used to. 16 degrees is the coldest my air condition to go. It was the coldest my air condition can go, right? And I would find that kind of chilly. To the point that sometimes on stream, like in the earlier days, I'd be like, "Oh, my room's kind of cold. Let me turn off the AC." That is 16 degrees. So you are the dense cat. That has nothing to do with me being kept warm. She experienced a bit of minus sometimes in winter. Yeah, like sometimes I go out here, it's like 15 degrees. I don't wear like a jacket or anything, but I feel like it's a little bit chilly. That is what I really like, you know? Like, oh, it is cold, but I'm walking, right? Because, you know, it's a bit of a small town. Anything I need is walking distance. So I'm walking and I walk quickly. So I'm, you know, generating heat. So it kind of cancels out whatever chill is in the air. And I really like that. It means I can walk really quickly and not feel hot and start sweating. So that's what I've been really enjoying after I moved here. But winter, I don't think it'll be too bad. Every time I say that, my dad laughs at me because he's traveled like the world a lot, so he's experienced like crazy cold winters. Yeah, like when he was super young, I think he was like in the U.S. I can't remember which state he was in, but he's like, yeah, that place was so cold. Every walking down the street, he enters a shop, warms up, walks out, enters the next store just to warm up again. Yeah, he's basically just hopping in and out of shops simply to avoid the outside weather. So yeah, every time I say winter can't be that bad, he always laughs at me and he's like, "You'll see." I do want to try experiencing it. I am how do you say this? I'm not in the coldest parts of like the UK, so it should be fine. Yeah. I'm in like the southern half of like the country, which tends not to get as cold as like the northern part. The northern part, I might just die. A few years ago, it was like minus 20. Ew. You know what? I'll be fine. Do you want to know why? Because I don't go outside. I go outside mainly to buy stuff and then come back, and that's about it. And since I don't go out frequently, I'm like, you know what? Let me take the scenic route. I take the long way. I walk through the park, right? Yeah, that's I stretch my legs, but that's about it. Otherwise, I'm generally an indoor cat. Oh, and it's the summer. They have like a lot of sun here, which I try to be very cautious of. And the English don't understand the concept of UV rays and sunburns. So whenever I walk out, I have my sunglasses and I have an umbrella, right, for the sun. I always get such weird looks. And like a couple of people have straight up like stopped to talk to me and ask about it, right? Which I don't like. I miss Malaysia. No one talked to me. Not in this, like if I'm walking in the streets, no one just like stops and just like, hey, how's it going? You know? Or they start like just randomly yapping. Yeah. At most, it's like if you're in an Uber or like a taxi or something, that's fine. You know, they're making conversation. But here, like I have places to be. I'm walking somewhere and then some random, yeah, some random person who's been day drinking just like pauses, sees the umbrella, laughs like it's the most hilarious thing, and like asks me about it. There was one time it was a little bit cloudy, and I had my umbrella, right? Because even though it's cloudy, you should check the UV index as well to see if it's high or not. Because the cloud doesn't always block UV rays. So that was a time where the UV index was high, but it was a little bit cloudy, right? So I was out there, I was with my umbrella, and there was someone who's like as I was walking in the park, he was just sort of bitch. And he saw me with that thing. He's like, hey, it's not raining. I'm like, oh, it's all good. Like, you know, just like simple responses. I'm moving. I don't want to talk to them. But yeah, he was like, hey, it's not raining. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. He's like, why the umbrella? I'm like, don't worry about it. Then he's like, you're not allergic to rain, are you? And I straight up just look at him. I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And then I just kept walking before he had time to process that. So yeah, the links I would go through to avoid conversation with strangers. I think that's one of the things I miss about the less you know, the longer you live is a good answer. No, because then that sounds kind of vaguely threatening, and I don't want to come off as rude. maybe like the wrong person could interpret that in a bad way, and I don't want to deal with that. So yeah, I kind of just I think I've defaulted to my answer being UV rays and skin cancer. Just that's it. I just say that and keep walking. Because you need to understand, I'm from a tropical country where, hold on, let me look at the UV index. Because they have like names for stuff. Let's see. UV index chart. Okay, we have this chart, right? Um I only ever go outside. Right. Every time I go out, I'm always wearing sunblock, sunglasses if it is 2 or higher, right? Here. I'm not blocking it. Yeah. I only ever go out this time. If I must, hold on. If I really need something that day, maybe go out when it's like this, right? My home country, year round, is like this. So I am very wary of the sun and its rays. Now, people who live in a country where they don't see the sun for most of the year don't know how to handle it. So that when it comes summertime, everyone is outside soaking in the rays, being cooked like a well done steak, right? Every single time I go outside and I pass strangers on the street, especially because it's like the summer. Here in the summer, the more sun there is, like the less clothing people wear. So along their entire arms, shoulders, face, everything, intense sun damage if they're like 30 and above, right? And I don't think they realize that it is sun damage. Some people just see that and be like, oh, well, aging and all that stuff. I'm like, So yeah. So you're white essentially. I am a cat. I am purple. Look, life is hard, as you know. So I was gonna imply I'm gonna start adding colorblind jokes, but it's okay. Let's not do that. Purple hair with white skin. Hey, I am a cat and I am purple. I don't know what you're talking about. Tried telling that to my dad. It told me, no, you said the sun helps you. Okay, there is a chart for that. There's a chart. Sun. Hold on. There was a chart like this. Yeah, having a darker skin tone doesn't really protect you um as much as you probably think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. You need sunblock and you need shade. Sunblock doesn't even cover everything. It covers most rays, and even then, you're not covering 100% of your exposed skin. Okay, hold on. There was a chart that I saw. Crap, I'm trying to find it. Bear with me. Is this it? Okay, here we are. In this chart, yeah, this is mostly exposed skin, like depending on like the material, like general clothes, right? They tend to block out enough of the UV rays, so it's fine. So yeah, this is a chart. Now, this is the UV index. Sorry, we're going very technical. Okay, nerd glasses time. This is the UV index, right? Once you are at this point, you are getting UV damage to your skin. So, I don't know if you guys are familiar. No, wait, sorry, that's not an exponential graph. Sorry, I misread it. Yeah, this is the chart in minutes. If you are going out when there's a lot of UV rays, in like 20 minutes, you're already burning, right? You're getting UV damage, you're getting sunburns, your cells are mutating, and your chances of skin cancer in your later years increases. You won't get skin cancer that day, that week, that year. You will get it in the next 20, next 30, if you're lucky, next 50, right? So if you are getting a little bit of sun, right? Say say it's a very hot sunny day, right? Oh, you're back. Okay, we're explaining UV, right? If you go, yeah, if you want to get vitamin D, which is a good thing, right? Your dad says it's useful. He's correct, but that's only half the story. Say, yeah, this is a very detailed chart. Say you're going sunbathing, you're only wearing shorts, right? You would follow this chart. If I've this part, if I've interpreted it correctly, right? So if you only need a few minutes in the sun, right? If depending on the UV index, if it's like a really hot sunny, sorry, I'm used to my country. This is crazy hot. If you're like in the UK, right, and it's a sunny day, it's about 6, right? You only need like 2 minutes in the sun before you've gotten your what's it called, your daily requirements for vitamin D, right? It's 2 minutes. Wear shorts on naked. Okay, I don't know where you live and what the laws are about that. So yeah, keep that in mind. But you'll notice very quickly that the longer you stay, the more damage you get, right? And if you go to something like a really high UV rays, like 10, right? If you're in the like the tropics, 20 minutes, you're already burning and getting skin damage, right? So people here don't seem to understand that. Even though the UK is kind of like here, people go outside and spend hours in the sun. So it's like a time limit in the sense whenever you're out. Exactly. I I basically spend as little time in the sun as I can. Like if I'm going for a walk, maybe it's like a 20-minute thing. I wear sunblock, I have an umbrella for portable shade, I have my sunglasses because you can't put sunblock on your eyeballs. So, yeah. I usually get about what's it called? I usually get maybe like 20 or so minutes of sun, but basically I'm sheltered by sunblock and an umbrella, so I'm not suffering like this is if you're standing out in the sun, no protection, right? Like going to the mall or supermarkets and other that. Yeah, if you're indoors, you're fine. Yeah, When I say outside, I don't mean outside the house. I mean outside in the streets under the sun. So yeah. Sorry, this chart was pulled up because Kay, your dad said it is useful. Yes, in small amounts. Water is also useful in its normal appropriate amounts, but no one wants to be dumped in the ocean. So yeah, if you're in the park, if you're in the shade, you could be there for like quite a while longer. But one thing you need to consider is UV bounces off of objects. So if you're in a place with a lot of shiny cars or like a sandy beach, right? A lot of white surfaces, right? Yeah. UV reflects and it basically can double your exposure. So this shard just half the amount of time. Also, got a speed run going out. Yeah, that's basically me. You mentioned spending the whole day under the scorching sun, no protection. Yeah, that's not good. Because maximum about an hour. Low UV. This is a very cloudy day when the sun is not directly above. Yeah. If you guys want to know how extreme I am, I only ever go out in this little dot. I'm just realizing how tiny it is. Yeah, this little frame. I only ever go out here, and at maximum 20 minutes. Right. This is my sun exposure, and I am completely covered. So full body. No, sorry, not this one. Um, they have no chart for it here, but yeah, this is what I'd get if I just raw dog the sun, just go out, no protection, no nothing. I would still be in the safe limits. But still, regardless, I wear sunblock and take portable shade. What is useful unless you're drowning? Yeah, everything in its appropriate amounts. Too much of a good thing, you know? Yeah, I told him not to be informed like him. That's your first mistake, right? When trying to convince someone of something, if you call them stupid and uninformed, they probably will not be receptive to any information that you're about to present them. You know, just like a rule of thumb in general, like moving forward, they can be stupid and misinformed, but you don't have to tell them that. I tried any and all ways. Okay, you tried, it didn't work. Move on. Nothing you can do about it. The blunt way is the best. It doesn't seem to be working. Do you know what's the best thing to do? Um, Especially now that our parents are all getting into shorts and reels and addicted to technology like the youth. Send them reels about it. Go on TikTok, search sun damage. Find all of the stuff and yeah, just find all of the appropriate reels and TikToks and send it to them and then they will see it and they'll see the information and I'm probably more likely to trust it if it's not coming from their child. Like put it this way. I am well, it's okay. That's not important information. No matter how old I get or what my qualifications are or anything, my parents, especially my mom, will only ever see me as like her small little baby, who's just babbling nonsense, right? So whenever I try like explaining things like this, completely goes over their head, right? Um, I don't like blame them. I don't take any personal offense. It's just a parent thing, because my dad tried explaining this to me, right? Um, he said that it's very hard as a parent to kind of let go of the image of your child basically being a 6-year-old baby, right? No matter how old they get, no matter whatever happens, right? In their eyes, they only ever see like a small idiot child who knows nothing. And they say that lovingly. So when you try to tell your parents something that they already have strong beliefs on, their instinctive response is, "Oh, they're just like a child. They don't know what they're talking about, right?" So it's very hard to have conversations like that. I thought the best way to do it is just to send them information in whatever language they speak. Like my mom doesn't speak English. I'm not going to send her English. I'm not going to send her English shorts and reels. So yeah, I don't have. Well, anything that has short form content. It could be YouTube, could be Instagram, could be anything. There's like a bunch of alternatives. I don't have TikTok. I have the app installed simply because I have a friend who always uses it. And whenever he thinks of me, he sends me one. Right? He'll be watching something. He's like, oh, that reminds me of Ordi. He'll send it to me. But he knows that I don't open the app. So what he did is I used to just open the app very rarely. And then it became a joke where I only opened the app once a month to see it. And then it evolved to at the end of the month, he's like, it's time for your monthly pilgrimage to open TikTok and look at all of the stuff that he said. And he sends like, there's like 100 plus stuff there. I spent a good 30 minutes going through it. So yeah, it's all just memes that have accumulated over time. That's the only time I ever use TikTok, which is probably not a good thing. If you want to be like a creator, you need to deal with like the whole shorts and reels and stuff. So far, I have avoided dealing with that by having Seller and Hotcheck make shorts for me in exchange for art and all sorts of stuff. Or they just want to do it for fun and for their own needs. One day I will get paid by Twitch, and yeah, I'll finally be able to pay the editors. Currently, they live in a basement. Every once in a while, I throw in a slice of bread in there. They're fine. They'll live. So yeah, we were talking about UV rays, so that was a tangent. Hmm. Hold on, my bottle's out of water, but I have a second bottle that I refill it from. I have one of those really large plastic water bottles, like the 2 liter ones. I keep it as a reserve bottle in case my normal one runs out. And I just like top it up once the first one is finished. It saves me the trouble of having to go downstairs and refill my bottle. Because I'm lazy like that. It started off as just being like a stream thing. I'm like, oh, so while streaming, I don't have to like get up and leave. But then it's become a part of my daily life, so I just have a 6 pack 1.5 liter bottles on my desk at all times. Oh, okay, yeah. Instead of buying like constantly, I just have like one bottle and I occasionally refill it from like the sink. So yeah, only 2 liter. That's it's a 2 liter bottle that I have so that I'm drinking throughout the day and only need to refill it like a few times rather than I finish my bottle, go downstairs, fill it. You sink drinker? Well, here in the UK, it is drinkable water. To this day, I'm still not used to the concept. Like, logically, right? Logically. By the way, if your country has drinkable tap water, not all countries have it. My my home country does not, right? So when I think tap water, I think dirty water. Not dirty, but just not drinkable, right? So the concept of drinking from the tap is very strange to me. Like it goes against everything that I've grown up with. Like logically, the facts, right? I can understand that this is water treated with chlorine through their processing plant, blah blah blah. It's very clean and drinkable. Meanwhile, the little gremlin in my head is like, ew, that is tap water. You use that for washing your hands and other stuff, but not drinking. Disease. Contaminants. nasty things, right? Like it's just an internal battle. It's like it's the battle between what I know and what I feel. Tap water like drinking is like super foreign. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think especially in Asia, it's not really a thing. So yeah, Goldie, you get it. Imagine if you suddenly went to a place and then everyone is just drinking from like the same kitchen sink. You know, it's very weird. Like at least when I was in Malaysia, we had like the water filter machines. There, it's I guess you can visually you see that there is something filtering the water, so you can trust that it's cleaner. But here it's just straight from the tap, and it's like, yeah, it feels off. I know that it's okay, but I feel like it is not. I still do it, but yeah. That's a very important thing you guys should understand. Like within yourselves and your thought process, there's always what you know and what you feel. And sometimes they don't always agree. It's always good to know which is which voice is talking. Is this the emotional side or the logical one? I drink tap water even in my country. I still let it run for a bit before filling my bottle. Oh, I just do that as well. Mostly because I want the colder water. Like I think the water that's right in the tap before you turn it open. Um, that one is a bit more room temperature. But I think the water tanks. Sorry, this country doesn't use water tanks. My bad. Yeah, the water in the pipes that lead to the house are, I think they're outside, so they get cold. So each time I open the tap, it's warm for like 2 seconds, and then it switches to being cold, and then I fill it up. I do the same thing just for like different reason. There might be a way to be a little bit lazy here. Hold on, I'm fighting with pixels. Okay, that's perfect. Wait, there was no point to that. Whoops. Hmm. Nope. The back part mismatches. Because I want it to be like round, and then during the rigging, when they smile, then like it kind of squishes, you know? That's what I'm going for. Yep, we're just gonna have to do this manually. It's fine. Yeah. I'm a bit tired, but I took a 3 hour nap today, and I felt like I had a full systems reboot. Like the past week, I think I was a bit overworked. So for a while, I had very slug energy, right? You may have even noticed like the streams at most would have only ever been like 1 or so hours. But today I ate like a lot of good food, and then I didn't have coffee in the morning because I wanted to take an afternoon nap. After lunch, after a very nice big lunch, I had like a food coma. I just crawled into bed with my cat. I closed my eyes and I wake up 3 hours later, and I felt fine for like the first time in several days. I think I just needed a nap, you know? That's what my body was craving. And it seemed to work out really well. So yeah. I decided to take it a little bit easy today. So we're working on a hot jacks model. He's not here today. But yeah. I did have a bit of coffee at like 5 p.m., which I don't think was the greatest idea, but I only had a little bit, so hopefully it's fine. It won't keep me up. Hmm. I think I should drink less coffee. I think when I have it, I don't take afternoon naps. When I was really tired, yeah, I didn't have a little cat nap to catch up a bit on sleep. But in other news, I've recently been watching The Wheel of Time because a friend of mine really, really, really recommended it to the point that when I said, I'll watch it, he's like, okay, call me in Discord right now, share your screen, we're watching it together. He was like that enthusiastic about it. I've been loving the show, and the first thing that I noticed while watching, like the opening scene, right? Or like the opening credits, I see right there as I think consulting producer. I see Brandon Sanderson. I was like, I know that name. So I told my friend that, and he's like, oh, because he's heard of the books, and a few of us have been reading them, like at my D&D table. Yeah, this is one of my friends. He's one of my min maxer friends, right? So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favorite author, and he wrote this book, he wrote that book. So and so is reading it, and I convinced this other friend to read that one. So yeah, first time in a while, I feel sleepy before midnight. Gonna go have fun, lovely people. Bye bye. Well, thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you next time. What day is it today? It's Tuesday. I'm not streaming tomorrow, but I'll be back day after that. In fact, I see you in other people's communities. It's fine. Ow. I'll see you sooner than that. But take care. Have a good night's rest. Bye bye. Usually, if I'm watching a Feather stream or Nadia stream, I usually find Kay there in the chat. So, bumping into a familiar face. Hmm. Do we want this eye? Or do we want to have a different style eye? Something that's more like this. Solid color, shiny, has sparkles. Hmm. Why not both? I don't think it'll be too much trouble because you'll notice the rabbit and the sheep have like the same eyes. I kind of just yoinked it from one another, and yeah. Ooh, also I got a payout from Booth from selling these models. So yeah, that's been nice. I got $10 from it. Okay, we'll stick to these eyes, but we can also make the other one, and then we'll have both of them in the model, and then he can pick whenever. This is why I need people in the chat so I can just ask them directly. I think it's only happened a couple of times where I'm working on someone's model and they're in the chat. It's a nice experience because in real time I can always just ask them like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Or, "Oh, I'm doing this thing, but what do you think about that one?" It's very nice. I like it. Yeah, I think I'll just finish this eye, and I think yeah, I think we can call it a day because once these things are done, it's basically ready for rigging. So that is cute. Yeah, I can't take credit for this one because this one I didn't draw. Um, Hot Shack, I don't know if he streams. He does have a Twitch. I don't know how often he goes live, but he uses the PNG Plus model. I don't know if you've ever seen them, right? It's basically like a more advanced, yeah, like a more advanced Discord React thing. Vani has one as well, I think. Yeah. Mm, so he had the files and he was showing it to me. I'm like, hey, that thing's really cut up. You can probably easily convert it to a live 2D model. So yeah, in exchange for some editing work, whenever he wants art of something, I just like make it. It's a skill trait thing. It works out. So yeah, this is one of those things where he wanted like the model. So I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. I decided to start rigging it, and yeah, soon he'll have a model. I wish I could pay editors, because I fully believe, like they should be. It's more of an issue of I can't. But yeah, this is the best that I can do. So yeah, like for example, let me show you. Like the tentacles and stuff are all pretty separated. Like I can easily turn this into a live 2D model. So yeah, he's been making shorts for me, which has been nice. And I was making some art here and there, a few emotes for some people he wanted to give it as a gift. And yeah, I'm like, hey, anything you want, just ask, I'll make it. Ooh, I saw he recently had a vision and taking editing commissions, so that's nice. Do I have his socials? Do we have a shout out? Yeah, if you've ever seen any of like the shorts, it's either made by Cello or Hot Shack. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, here it is. Oops. Yeah, for anyone who's interested in commissioning your own shorts. High quality, great to work with. There you go. Mm, okay. I think my voice is kind of tired. I'm out of practice from talking. So, yeah. I think I am going to call it a night. And we can we raid into someone? Do we know anyone who's live? If we don't know anyone, we'll just call it a day. Hmm. Any familiar faces? Okay, here we are. Okay, we actually have raid messages, which I keep forgetting about it. So, if anyone's interested in joining us for like the raid or they want a raid message, these are the official ones. And yeah, I'll probably just pop in for a bit, say hi, and then I have some shows I need to catch up on. No, I made it an official rule. We only use the official ones. So yeah, I don't like the duck's radish raid thing, simply because it's too niche of a joke and it confuses other streamers. Right? Yeah, it confuses other people. They start to feel awkward, and then they don't know how to feel, and it's a bit awkward. So yeah, jokes not a joke, right? We only stick to like the official ones, yeah, because that's something I started to notice every time like they'd get confused, they'll ask about it and then they don't know what it means, and then they're like, you know they kind of put on the spot and then they start feeling a bit awkward. So yeah, I feel like it's best to just stick to very generic order raid, and yeah, something consistent for everyone. Raid messages are optional, but if you want to use them, kindly use the ones that are prepped here. Yep, it is in the rules. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, everyone. See you there. Bye bye.